Hello everyone! In today's tutorial, we'll be going into Figma, the free and powerful design tool that's become a game changer for app designers. Whether you're starting out in UI UX or a seasoned design professional learning a new design tool, you're bound to learn a thing or two. We'll start with an empty project, and by the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to learn how to make an interactive design prototype of your idea, like this one, with complete navigation and the appropriate transitions, and learn how you can share the result with anyone, all inside Figma. Before starting the tutorial, make sure to download Figma from the official website and go through account creation. Ready? Now let's begin. When we open Figma for the first time, we see a blank canvas with some tools on the upper portion, layers of the page on the left, and the element properties on the right. Let's click the frame icon. It's important to understand frames, as it is a fundamental concept when designing Figma. Think of it as individual screens containing all the elements of your design. Each frame would represent an individual screen from your app, like home screen, login, or user profile. We'll see on the right some frame dimensions of well-known sizes across platforms, mobile, tablet, or desktop for website design. It's possible to set your own dimensions as well by clicking and dragging across the screen until you get the desired dimensions. Let's select iPhone 14 Plus. When a frame is selected, its properties can be edited on the right. Among other things, we can change the dimensions, or we can change the fill color. For now, let's change the name of the frame to home screen to keep organized. We can see any element as layers on the left. We can also copy and paste any frame, and all the elements inside will also be copied. Let's try adding a rectangle. We can see that it automatically switches layers depending on where you move it in the canvas. It can also be outside of any frame. Now let's add more UI elements to our recipe cooking mobile application. We can drag and drop images from Finder. So let's add in our color palette and start working on the app's bottom navigation bar. We can just drag and drop and resize elements or edit the size and location on the right. We can also select multiple elements and align them on click based on our needs. Here we align them vertically. We can play around with the fill and add as many as we want. It's important to note, fill also has its own layer system that determines which colors show on top first. That's great starting out, but one of Figma's strengths is the large community support. Let's take a look. Let's click the home icon. Click Explore Community. Let's type in Recipe App Template to see some inspirations. Once we find something interesting, we can click Open in Figma. and we get access to the whole file that we can edit just as we edited our own created elements. We can select elements and change all the colors by changing the specific color in the Selection Colors area. Let's continue creating the home screen of our fictional app. Click Recipe. I'll work on it and make comments from time to time about the process. It helpfully shows relevant spacing as well. Here it shows equal spacing. An image can also be a fill for a shape. We can drag and drop images and it fills the space available, regardless of the image's dimensions. We can organize elements in groups as well. The bottom navigation bar elements make sense to be grouped and be controlled as one unit when I copy and paste it to the next frame. Now I've finished the designs of how I want some screens of my app to look like. It's time to connect them together to make a functional prototype. We can get a preview of what's done by clicking the present icon on the top right, and it shows how all the frames would look like on the iPhone. This is nice, but it would be better if we could click an item and it will take us to the relevant screen. And if we click the home button, it takes us back to the home screen frame. We achieve this by going to the Prototype tab on the right. So we've switched from the Design tab to the Prototype tab, and we can create a connection by hovering on the selected element and dragging and dropping from the point to the screen we want it to connect to. We can edit this connection, set how it would trigger, and how the transition would look like with the preview shown below. Now that we have the connection, we can see on the preview when we click Vegetarian Tofu Bowl, it navigates us to the recipe page screen with a nice transition. Let's create the connections for the other elements in our app. We can see our app is now connected by clicking on elements on the screen, and we can click anywhere to see which interactions are available on a frame, highlighted blue, like this one. With apps, we usually have scrolling material like the list on the home screen frame. We can also mimic this behavior in our prototype. Let's set the scroll behavior as vertical on the home screen frame. And now we can see all the elements scroll. But now our problem is the navigation bar below is also scrolling down when we want it to stay fixed on the screen. We can fix this by clicking on the navigation bar group element. And on the Prototype tab, we change its scroll behavior from scroll with parent to fixed. You'll see on the left that it now makes a distinction to the frames elements that are fixed, and elements that scroll. After that, we see it scrolls perfectly, as we would expect in our app. Now we might want to share what we've done, and Figma makes it really easy and fast. We click the share button on the top right, and a window will appear that shows the project's share settings. We can invite specific people to the file, and we can also let anyone with a link access to the file. For now, let's change it to anyone with a link, and change the setting to Can View. Now when we copy the link, this is how it would look like when it's accessed. We see the whole canvas with all the frames and elements outside of the frames. And we can also go through the presentation of the prototype, complete with all the interactions we created. Amazing. We can also access our files using the Figma app on the phone. It's important to note we can only interact with the prototype in the app, so it's mainly for viewing the prototype in a real device. We can also export all the screens into a printable PDF file by clicking File, and then Export Frames to PDF. We indicate the file name and save location. And then we get the complete PDF where each frame is a page of the PDF. And that's it for now. We're only scratching the surface of this powerful design tool, so if you found this useful, consider subscribing to get updated on our next Figma tutorial. Was it easy? Do you have any questions, tips and tricks you can share? Let us know in the comments below. Until then,